The U.S. House of Representatives passed a crucial $95 billion foreign aid package Saturday. It's now headed to the Senate and is expected to be approved this week. The bill includes $61 billion for Ukraine, and Ukrainian President Zelensky is urging the U.S. to send weapons to the front lines as soon as possible. He says it will help make Ukrainians have some gains on the battlefield, which, of course, has been dominated by Russia for months. Well, joining us now is Oleksandra Matviichuk. She heads the human rights organization Center for Civil Liberties, which won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2022. Oleksandra, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
So you went on a speaking tour across the U.S. lobbying for this aid for Ukraine. What was your reaction when you heard the House had voted on this $61 billion in aid for Ukraine?
I had public lectures, public discussions, meeting with people in different parts of the country, and I always face a very warm welcome. Our narrative Ukrainian story for freedom and for human dignity is very understandable for people in the United States, and this reflects the sociological polls. Majority of people in the United States support Ukraine.
And of course, that amount, $61 billion, is almost as much as what the US has given Ukraine in aid since this war began. What does it mean to Ukraine in real terms on the battlefield?
It means that this support of United States will save thousands and thousands of lives. It also means that we will be able to stop Russian offensive. And this means for me as a human rights lawyer that we will have less war crimes which Russia committed in occupied territories.
There are, of course, plenty of lawmakers, mostly far-right Republicans, who did not want to send more aid to Ukraine. What case did you have to make to get those lawmakers and lobbyists to support this?
I'm not very familiar with American politics. I'm a human rights lawyer, but Speaker Johnson have to fulfill the will of people of United States of America. He had just to did his job.
And of course, you work with the Center for Civil Liberties, and that work has meant documenting human rights abuses amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine. What do you want the world to know about what you found?
Just recently, Vladimir Putin once again repeat his genocidal claim in interview to Tucker Carlson that Ukrainians are not exist, that there is no Ukrainian nation, there is no Ukrainian language, there is no Ukrainian culture. And we, for 10 years, documenting how these words transferred in the horrible practice in the ground, when Russian troops deliberately liquidate active local people, destroy Ukrainian cultural heritage, forcibly deported Ukrainian children to Russia in order to bring them up as Russians. So we have no other chance. If we stop fighting, there will be no more us.
And of course, we heard from the CIA director last week who warned that without this aid, Ukraine could lose the war to Russia this year. What's your reaction to that assessment, and what else is needed to turn the tide of this war?
I think that we have to define issues properly, because if Ukraine will not be able to stop Putin in Ukraine, Putin will go further. So this is not a question about Ukraine. This is a question about security of Europe. And this is a question also whether or not United States will be obliged to send their people to fight here in this region and to pay the highest price, which we can just imagine, the price of human lives.
Oleksandra Matviichuk, we appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for joining us.